What's up, Vankers? How is everybody doing? I'm feeling pretty good. Brian cheated on me when I was on my honeymoon with a certain individual. Now he's gone on a golf trip with his dad, so I think it's only fair that I cheat on him with this very same guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron. We got Cameron on the podcast.
Let's go. It is a privilege to be here, sir. Do you know what I mean? There is much that we need to catch up on, mate. Much F1 stuff, as always. Yep.
So I was thinking we rehash everything that you and Brian talked about. We talk about, so it's equal equipment.
Spec series.
It's a spec podcast. We have to hit the same points. No, I'm kidding. We're going to talk about the new stuff we got. We got Oscar and Max rumors, Christian coming back. But, before we get into it, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Patreon, pre-order the fucking book. Links are in the description. And we are the Red Flags Podcast, part of the Vox Media Network. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so this all kind of kicked off with a Will Buxton tweet. He was like, I got real big news coming. It's going to shake. It's going to break the Kim Kardashian champagne, break the internet, blah, blah, blah. It was very reminiscent of what he tweeted when Lewis broke the internet with his move to Ferrari. He tweets this thing, and then everyone's speculating about Max retiring, Max going to McLaren. It's sort of added fuel to the fire. First thing I got to know, does Will need to have his Twitter suspended? Does Elon Musk need to revoke the Twitter?
Mate, way to bring shame on the F1 journalism name, right? Like, I thought Will Buxton took pride in being an F1 journalist, a broadcaster, Netflix's guy, and then he's out here honey dicking with this nonsense. Honestly, mate, I hate this stuff, No wonder people don't take Formula One seriously. What do we do? Is this WWF1 instead of F1, Matt? What the honestly, chat, no, mate, it's not, time is a finite resource, so don't waste it to Will Buxton with this nonsense.
Well, what's interesting is it was troll behavior. It was troll behavior. He kind of like on his podcast, which we won't name, was talking about, I didn't know, blah, 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 a little bit. He just kind of played it down, but he knew what he was doing. And David Coulthard was like, excuse me? But what, are you fucking kidding me? He knew what he was doing. He's a smart guy. But what's interesting is the move was kind of a big parallel in the IndyCar world, right? He's got Scott Dixon, like a legend in the sport, moving over and leaving Chip Ganassi and going to McLaren, right? And I think I guess it brings up the question, this rumor that maybe there's rumors that Max is in negotiating a long-term contract with McLaren. They're in the late stages of negotiation. There was a rumor that Max met with the board of Red Bull in Austria, and they offered to buy him out of his buyout clause. And he said, no, I'm good. I don't need extra money. What I need is a car that doesn't try to kill me every week. And so you can keep your money. I'll keep my exit clause. So Cameron, do you think there's any truth to these rumors?
Of course, there is truth to the rumor, Matt. Of course, there is, mate. Raymond Vermeulen, Max Verstappen's manager, said that Max only exists to win races. He's not a driver that even thinks of being in the carbon fiber zone. Doesn't it feel weird, Matt? Like Neo seeing a black cat twice, like a glitch in the Matrix, seeing Max Verstappen competing for 10th and 11th with Liam Lawson and Tsunoda. What are we doing here, Matt? Of course, Max Verstappen has to take his future into his own hands and have conversations. Guys, pick of the litter, mate. One of the best drivers to ever do it in F1 history. What I don't want to see as a Max Verstappen fan is his career, the prime years of it laid to waste at the altar of poor decision making. He can't be another Fernando Alonso. F1 will be worse seeing Max Verstappen in, I don't know, an Aston bloody Martin. No, he's got to have conversations, mate, with McLaren and Mercedes. It's which one of those is that's the exam question. Which one of those he ends up at, Matt?
Right. I mean, I've gotten into soccer, or as you call it, football, pretty recently. And after I watched the Egypt game with Argentina, that amazing game. I don't know if you saw it.
Oof.
It was a great game. But I was listening to this podcast on The Guardian about that game, and there was moments where you saw Messi sort of slumping around, right? He was slumping around. He looked downcast. It looked like Argentina was on the ropes, and he looked depressed. And one of these podcasters, I don't know his name. I'm new to the sport, but he said something brilliant. It was so profound. He said, Messi has never been in a game, has never played in a game that Messi hasn't played in. He's never not experienced the magic that is Messi. And at the second half, when they were down 2-0 and the magic wasn't there, he's like kind of experiencing, because he's older now, he's starting to experience like what life without Messi is like, and it sucks, right? He's like, what the fuck is this, right? What kind of shit is this? Because he is now becoming more mortal for longer stretches, and he's kind of having that experience. And sort of convert in the same vein, Max has never been in a race that Max hasn't been in, and when his car sucks, he is kind of reduced to being immortal, and he's like, what the fuck is it? Like, it breaks his brain, because he is used to one form of racing, which is being on the limit, winning. And he's trying to reproduce that magic, and he's desperate to reproduce that magic, because it's sort of beyond his consciousness to just be a bum. And I guess my question is let's start with Mercedes. I don't think I mean, there are rumors that Mercedes lowballed him, that he didn't get the deal that he wanted. There are also rumors that he decided, I'll take a pay cut. I'll only take $50 million. I'll slum it. I'll lease out my jet. I'll slum it at $50 million. Now, do you think Mercedes is even an option for him anymore?
I still hold out hope, Matt. I hold out hope for a couple of different reasons. You know, when they normally announce the extension to a driver's contract, it's a big bloody deal. I know that Mercedes dragged their feet last year with George Russell's one, but ultimately there was a statement, right? There was a tweet, like it went out. It was they weren't hiding the fact that they'd extended George Russell's contract. The only announcement that we've got about George extending his contract, or at least exercising an option to extend it, lest we forget it was a 1+1, is George Russell at the British Grand Prix saying, I will be at Mercedes 100% next year. What does that mean to me? That's not saying anything to me. And then you see the way that Toto like hugs his adopted son, Kimi Antonelli. The communication between Toto and George is like, I don't know, George is over the radio saying, well, listen, if I'd had a better car, if the car was faster in a straight line, then I probably would have won the race. And Toto's like, what do you mean? Mate, the car was plenty speedy in a straight line in the race. Matt, with all that, I say all that to say that, listen, Toto has been having a gazillion conversations with Max over the past 24 months that have extended one Team Verstappen and Toto at the Miami Grand Prix, not last year, the year before. Toto said he wasn't going to flirt outside the relationship shortly before having conversations in the bloody motorhome with Nostradamus Verstappen. So it's like, well, where there is a Toto Wolff will, there is a Toto Wolff way. And I think they're in for it, mate, still.
You've only addressed half of the issue. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here, Cameron, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not going to sit here and argue. No one's going to sit here and argue with your point was, well, Toto doesn't really like George that much. Toto's not in love with George. Granted, he loves Kimi. But yeah, so that's the other side of things. Like, he doesn't love George that much. He loves Kimi. Why would he feed Kimi to the wolves if he loves him so much, right?
It's a good shout. No, it's a good shout, and it's a valid pushback. I've always, Toto has this weird way that he talks. Some have said that he's potentially he will supersede at some point in the not too distant future Stefano Domenicali as the head of FOM, right? Formula One management. When Toto talks about some of these things, mention their names, Abu Dhabi 21, and not protesting. The other day there was a conversation about Monaco and the bloody infringement of the pit lane speed that was wrong. And Toto then said, like he did in 2021, that, oh no, it's in the best interest of Formula One that I don't protest. Matt, you tell me this, sir, what would be in the better interest of Formula One than having the current generational driver in Max Verstappen alongside Kimi Antonelli, the next one? What catapults the market capitalization of F1 listed on the Nasdaq from the 24.5 billion US dollars to the 40 billion as rumored what they want it to get to before they sell, better than the blockbuster combination of Max and Antonelli in that Silver Arrows Mercedes? What does it better than that, Matt?
I guess my only counter to that would be you have this amazing asset in Kimi Antonelli that you're paying like $2 million a year. You have the next, you claim to have the next Verstappen, right? But you could just immediately what if Max comes in and shreds him?
It's the danger.
Then you've now depreciated. If you're looking at this like a portfolio, that's how you're talking, right? You've now completely shredded that asset. Kimi's value plummets if Max comes in and shreds him. Now let's say let's say it's the opposite, right? Kimi shreds him. Then okay, what have you done to Max's value? Like there's no the best case scenario is they go at each other, like Alonso and Hamilton. Now that's its own, but that has its own problems, right? There's no. I guess that's the best case. Or Senna and Prost, right? They're just fucking at each other.
Bro, it doesn't last for too long. This is a very short-term play. But again, Liberty Media are looking to sell within the next 2 to 3 years. I say this to you again, Matt. Both are in the same car. I understand that there is risk and potential downside. Potentially, Kimi never recovers from Max Verstappen, but nobody's expecting Kimi, as brilliant as he's looked this year, to beat Max Verstappen. If he could even get close, that's a story. What I'm talking to you about, Matt, is the bloody It's kayfabe, isn't it, chap? It's just invest. I'm invested in it. Like it's narrative. This is bigger, deeper than rap. Having Max and Kimi. Toto can be short. Toto can just say, well, yes, and I want to ring fence. I want to safeguard Kimi Antonelli's development if he wants to. But that's not a big boy play. That's not Moneyball. That's just like, do you know what I mean? That's what Lawrence Stroll might do. Like I think Toto thinks bigger than that. That's why he's a billionaire and a CEO and a team principal and a shareholder as well.
So he's thinking Ron Dennis. He's thinking box office. Get the two best guys and just see what happens. He's like us.
I just think if he's not, Stefano and co, the powers that be, want to be sponsoring this operation, Matt, it's too. I don't know. Again, think about 2007. You referenced it. Lewis versus Alonso is like one of the greatest, just because of the beef and the rancor and the friction. It's one of the greatest seasons ever. And okay, there was some brilliant racing in there, but the story, Matt, it's just bigger. You can taste it right when it's like 2021 and it's Max versus Lewis and they're very similar as drivers but very different as people. The story needs no translation, and I think, your Nick's a testament to that, right? These stories in sports, the best ones, the juiciest ones that attract the mainstream people who wouldn't otherwise be watching, given TikTok and Facebook. These god tier stories, They don't need any translation. Just make it happen, Toto Stefano. It would F1 work. Can you imagine? Oh, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Be different. But though I see your case against, I understand that's that it comes with risk if you are Toto and you're Mercedes and you're a automotive behemoth and everything's all nicely prim and proper and buttoned up, and you can't have another 2016 Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. I get it, but I think it's deeper than rap, Matt. Now make it happen.
It's like the rational conservative thing to do is like, you mean I get to have George Russell as my second driver? I am paid in the shade. I am good. I have the best driver lineup in the world.
It's fair. It is fair, but it's deeper than rap. For if you can't,
I think you just want. I think you're just. I think you're thinking with your heart.
I'm willing it into it. No,
you're very deep down. You're just like, I make it happen because I want it.
Do it. I just think it means. I don't know. I think it's bigger. It's bigger than just Mercedes in competition. You know, Liam Parker, Chief Communications Officer of Liberty Media, he said a couple of months back that F1 is no longer, I'm paraphrasing here, but F1's no longer a sport. It is content. But then show and prove. This will be if they make this happen somehow, Max at Mercedes, then that's proof of concept. If they allow him, by the way, and let me pitch something back at you, Matt, by the way, and this question is going to get very techy. It's an exam. One, if you're Toto, are you telling me that there is more risk as far as jeopardising Kimi Antonelli's growth? Look how brilliant he's been season to date. You're telling me there's more risk from signing Max Verstappen than there is risk from letting him going to the claws of a Zach Brown or a Lawrence Stroll? Because you know the comparison for me, Matt, is this: have you ever watched Saving Private Ryan?
Of course.
Do you remember that? Do you remember they let that soldier go and then he came back to kill all of them? Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he didn't kill all of them. He killed one of the guys.
Is that not the film that Toto needs to watch to understand what Max Verstappen will do to them if he lets Max go into the papaya-coloured car? Tell me that's not what's going to happen to
Max. Is the guy on the stairwell that the guy just watches. Yep. No, that's a good point, because better having him in the tent with all his Michigas. That's a great point. Is you rob, right? Because in the McLaren era of dominance in the 24, 25, he was the spoiler. He was the fly in the ointment. So I think you're right. I think you take your main impediment off the table. That is a very good point, and I forgot about that.
Toto has to do it. He's got to be in for that. And I don't know what would change. I know that Kimi's come along and whatever, but still, you just do it. And Zach Brown can say whatever he wants. He's trying to back off and say, oh, well, no, I've currently got 2 drivers and Oscar and Lando's names are engraved on that seat. And insofar as they're always here, then I've not got any interest in it. But you said that about Scott Dixon in the same bloody interview. That's what I was going to bring up. You said that about Scott Dixon. They dumped Lundgaard, dude. Lundgaard is their best driver. Lundgaard's winning the driver battle. He's the best McLaren driver on points right now, and they just fucking dumped him for Dixon. So they're clearly not precious. Oh, mate.
I mean, if you're Oscar Piastri and you're looking at the way they treated Lundgaard, I'm not feeling great. I mean, Weber's camp says, Oscar's completely committed. Oscar's not trying to leave, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't really mean anything. That just means that he's happy where he is, even though I'm skeptical. I'm sure happy is probably the wrong word. I think maybe the word is, I think this is the best I'm going to do. Because where is he going to, I guess there could be a Red Bull option, but where is he going to be happier than there, slugging out with Lando? The salient point, Matt, that you use the adjective happy. We also, I'll never forget hearing last year McLaren come over the radio and ask Oscar Piastri to tow Lando Norris through turn 4 at the Italian Grand Prix. What are we doing here? And I don't think Oscar's as cool and calm and stoic as Oscar's demeanour is. I think he has the memory of an elephant. He won't forget that, and he won't forget. Who would forget that? Well, I'm in a fight with Lando Norris for the championship. He's made a mistake, and you want me? That's the chap that you want me to tow through turn 4. Honestly, bordering on ridiculous. If there was a case to be made for favouritism, then there it is. And I don't think Webber, given what happened with his career and Sebastian Vettel, I don't think that will be lost on Mark Webber. Sometimes you've got to roll the dice and move to Red Bull if that opportunity presents itself. But happy is a relative term. Now, okay, so do you think McLaren is seriously considering this?
I think they have no choice but to consider it. I just think this is F1, Matt. Do you know what I mean? I never forget when Lewis left McLaren to go to Mercedes. I was like, what? This is like, I don't know, stranger things. They always happen in Formula One. I just think Oscar's got to, they've got to consider it, because I doubt, my spidey senses tell me that, again, Oscar won't forget what happened last year. And that if I were Oscar Piastri, I would attribute the reason why I lost the championship to Lando to all of the favouritism. How can you not? Qatar, the Italian Grand Prix, the bloody switcheroo. Like, I mean, how? And so sometimes you go, you know, Matt, when you've been in a job so long, I can speak to this pertinently because I feel like I'm going through something similar. You know, when you join a new job and everything's fantastic and you're keen to prove and you're reading books and you want to add value. And then somewhere around, for me, somewhere between 18 months and 24, everything just gets a bit stale. My time at this new role, it looks like one of those old decrepit bananas that's just gone off. I just need to, sometimes I just need to leave. It's done. I need to cut it off like gangrene. And I think that's where Oscar Piastri is now. He's got a full stop new paragraph, mate, for better or for worse. He's just got to do it.
But, you know, I could also say back to you, Cameron, wherever you go, there you are. And then also, I mean, happy is a relative term. I mean, he might not be the happiest he could be at McLaren, but do you think I mean, look at the Carlos Sainz situation. I mean, Carlos Sainz was forced out, but taking a punt at being a lead driver somewhere else
doesn't always work out.
Doesn't always work out. And in fact, I would say he's probably, grass is always greener, but he's probably happier eating a little bit of shit at McLaren than eating a lot of shit at an Audi or a Williams. Now, if Mercedes if Red Bull's available to him, then he should probably take it. There's also now conversely, do you think Max is really, how seriously do you think he's looking at McLaren?
Very, very serious. To be fair, though, there are some that say that it's just a negotiating tool. I mean, Joe Saywood said that those conversations that they're having are performative at best, very unserious, with a view to wave a red flag, pun intended, to Mercedes. Come and get me if you are ever going to come and get me. But I think Max is in a similar position, or not dissimilar one to Oscar, mate. Sometimes you just got to... How many times has he crashed in the last 4 back-to-back? Serious, dangerous crashes, Max. Listen, sometimes you gotta pervade the circumstance that you're in and make it. Same thing with Oscar, Matt, if I'm honest with you. Lest we forget that McLaren this year are not the McLaren of 2025, sir. Not even close. They don't even have the bloody updated software. They're not getting the maximal velocity. That Mercedes engine, again, I had a look. They don't even have the updated Mercedes engine because they're too busy. They had so many DNFs earlier on in the season that they want to stick with the ones that they've got. I'm like, what is the same McLaren that won the constructors and drivers last year? It doesn't feel like them. And so I think that's only going to enhance the extent to which Oscar Piastri is looking at pastures new.
Right. So, but why would Max want to go to this dumpster fire is the question.
Because they're better. It's still a better option than bloody Red Bull powertrains, mate. Would you not? You're telling me that you'd rather stick next 4 years, purveying the circumstance. You're telling me that you'd rather stick with Red Bull powertrains, Laura Meckes' show, than be at McLaren, who are looking to become a works team as well soon.
Okay, it's not just Red Bull powertrains.
Go on.
The team completely bends to my will.
Fair.
Jos Verstappen comes in and says, I don't like this. I want more front end. I don't like these tires. Give them to Isaac Hadjar. Whatever it is, right? Like it's his way. That is going to be, I'm not saying that that's impossible, but that is going to be less likely at, and I have to bring up Daniel Ricciardo. I'm not saying he's the same level of driver as Max, but he drove Max pretty hard. They were pretty close at Red Bull. I mean, Max was a lot younger. I don't think Max had reached his peak, obviously. But they had a similar driving style. They both handled that Red Bull pretty well. And then he got to McLaren, and it was just like the car was like, it was a different language. It's like speaking a different language. So I guess is Max a little bit, has a little bit of pause, like, okay, Lando is embedded in this team. This car might be different. I might have a harder time getting things the way I like them.
I don't know, Matt. So their words sound good on paper, but when Max, two things. When Max is on offer, at the commercial mind that Zach Brown is, do you think there are any lengths to which he will not go to sign Max Verstappen? If Max comes in there and says, you know what, I need for my dad Jos to be at every team meeting, and I am going to do GT series. I'll be at the Nordschleife 24 hours next year. Do you think Zach Brown's going to say, you know what, that's you're asking a bit much, mate, Max? I can't.
And I want Pato Award's car for the Indy 500.
I think they will throw. I think they'll give him the lot. I think Zach Brown will say, you know what, you can have that, and here's my wife, and you can take my children and my house and everything. Take it all, Max Verstappen, because he'll understand the upside. I just think it's
commercially,
bro. It's
and
too
I
big.
think.
Matt, by the way, Matt, you said something else there that was chaos. You talked about Lando and that. Max will see how the fear that you express about Antonelli and how he'll rub up against Max. Max in the same car as Lando. Lando is finished, full stop, new power. He has no chance, absolutely zero. Max, that's my worry. As much as I'm not a big Lando Norris fan, that's the big loser in that equation. If Max goes across to McLaren, Lando may as well pack his bags. Put the fries in the bag, Lando. Do you know what I mean? Like just Kenny Smith, let's go home. It's done for Lando.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be no more being caught out with Alex Earl and whoever. You know, it's the playtime is going to be over if Max comes in.
Finish.
I mean, craziness. I think. I don't think it's going to be good news for Lando if Max shows up. I think Max has the psychological edge, the big brother energy. I think it's got to be hard being a number one driver, knowing that you're in that meme where the guys with his girlfriend looking back at the other, and Max is at that girl that's just walking towards the frame. It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. I don't think that, and he's already got his sleeper cell in GP already installed. I mean, the more you're talking me into it, and I think it can't be understated, right? I think it can't be understated the effect that a guy like that can have on a team, because, I mean, we've seen it in Ferrari, right? I mean, they're not perfect, right? But you've seen an energy shift with Lewis entering. Like, all of a sudden, they seem more pliable. They seem more fuck Brembo. We'll get new brakes.
Yeah.
You want new brakes? Like, it goes from like, this is the Ferrari way. We do things the Ferrari way, to like, you want a new engineer? You want new brakes? You know, we're gonna like take the initiative and strategy. Like, I don't think, like, when you get a guy like that, I really think it can there's a lot of intangible stuff that can happen, and even if just having that pedigree, like Lewis doesn't even have to do anything. He just has 7 championships and asks for things and wants things, and people or wants people to jump, and they say how high. Max, same thing.
Yeah. You disagree. Well, I've got these 7 chips that disagree with you. What are you talking about? I remember Lewis said about Canada. Again, I think he's the winningest driver around the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve. That he rocked up and he saw the way that Ferrari was setting up the car, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, I've won so many races around it. This isn't how you do this. How do you argue that, Matt? What are you going to say? Like, there's nothing to say. Like, nothing sells like success. And when Lewis rocks up and puts his 7 rings on the table, it's carte blanche, isn't it?
He doesn't even bother with the simulator. He's just so beyond. He's so experienced that he's just on another level. And I think that culture shift, I mean, they're already winning, but like that extra boost that Max going there. And I mean, we see it with Lewis, like Leclerc was the entrenched number 1, and you can already kind of feel the energy shifting. I think with Max, it's going to be even more dramatic.
Yeah, he's not standing for that, is he, Max? He doesn't suffer fools. And you make the point about it. It's exactly the same thing as Max going to McLaren. He'll put his 4 rings on the table.
Yeah.
Argue with that. Do you know what I mean? Don't believe me. Well, there you go. That's my proof of concept.
Support for the show comes from Hims. The amount of conflicting advice out there about hair loss is exhausting. Shampoos, supplements, office visits. It's hard to know what's worth your time. Hims cuts through all that with real trusted treatment plans and a 100% online process. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescriptions, hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays. Their prescription strength ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can help prevent further hair loss and can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Find the right hair regrowth treatment for you with flexible subscription options and access to 24/7 provider support and once-in-a-day treatment options that fit your daily routine. It's straightforward, transparent, and designed to make getting care feel easy. For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/redflags. That's hims.com/redflags for your free online visit. Hims.com/redflags. Featured products include compound drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required individual results may vary. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Okay, so speaking of rumors and who's going where and what's happening when, Christian was milling about the paddock. I think it was to promote his book, but obviously he's put me in coach. I'm ready to play. What do we think? MBS says, one of our greatest sources that we have, MBS, was saying that he's definitely coming back. He definitely deserves to be back. I mean, why the head referee basically is weighing in on a guy's future? That's not really, doesn't really feel like his place to say whether or not a guy deserves a job or not. But he says that Christian is definitely coming back and definitely deserves a spot back. So what do you think? What do we make? Is Christian coming back?
I think you'll see Christian Horner on a grid somewhere, not too far into the future for sure. The big question is where, though. I've heard chatter about BYD. We've seen at the Cannes Film Festival with the CEO of BYD, but BYD have since come out and said, wow, if we're going to come into F1 as the 12th entrant, you guys need to step closer towards hybridization and electric power. And it sounds like F1's about to step away from it, given the V8s. Then you've got the Otro Capital 24% that they have currently, that celebrity conglomerate. But last I heard, I thought they wanted Toto. I think Toto stepped away from it because he doesn't like their valuation. Says that they're too pricey. But you remember, Toto was their preferred bidder. Maybe Christian Horner can get back in there with Alpine and work alongside, or dismiss shortly thereafter, one Fabio Briatore. And then the other option, which I think is the favourite, Aston Martin. But again, there's problems there. I thought Adrian Newey didn't like him. Once upon a time, Adrian had himself a clause in his contract stating that Christian Horner is not welcome here. There is no room at the Aston Martin Inn. But they've since been spotted at the bloody Oasis concert and then most recently Wimbledon. So, mate, there's too many moving bits. Aston Martin potentially.
Okay, you're British. You're British. So they were spotted at an Oasis concert?
Oasis was a couple months back, and then Wimbledon most recently.
Okay. If two British men go to an Oasis concert together, that means they're basically in love with each other, because there is nothing a British man loves more than Oasis for some reason. It's disgusting. It's the most cringe thing about you guys. I mean, I think Oasis is good, but like the level, can you explain this to me? This British male obsession with Oasis?
No, it's a problem. It's part of the culture. Wonderwall is the national anthem, as the others makes the difference. It's deeper than rap, mate. You are right. I defer
I think
to
people conflate the personalities of the Gallaghers are like legendary, but their music is not this edgy thing. It's like Wonderwall is like
Britpop.
A pop song.
Britpop. Yeah, proper. But they're the closest thing that we've got to beat the Beatles, mate. Like, see, it's...
The Beatles, you have the Beatles.
No, but they're the new version of... They're our generation's Beatles, Matt. We're not going to go and listen to Yesterday and bloody any one of the other Beatles songs that I can't remember. That's too old.
I mean, you guys beat Mexico in the Azteca, and I'm like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then you guys sing Wonderwall. I'm like, what is happening here? There is this great clip of the British men being serenaded by the British men's team being serenaded by the redheaded guy. Fuck.
Who are you talking about?
The redheaded singer. He's like the biggest guy in the world with the
Ed
guitar.
Sheeran.
They're being serenaded by Ed Sheeran, and they're all looking at him like, what the fuck is this? It's the funniest, such a funny clip. Like Ed Sheeran singing his heart out, and like all these guys are like, why? That's how I look at the Oasis situation. But Brits in the chat, explain Oasis to me.
No,
because I said that they're kind of like Coldplay, and the amount of viciousness that I got from some British people in a pub was like angry. You want to rile a British person up? Say they're like Coldplay.
No, they're purer. They're bigger.
But
how very dare you, man? Put some respect on Oasis.
But yeah, the fact that they went to Oasis together basically means they're making out with each other. They're very in love, because that's very serious. Because you know what's interesting is, do you remember when Wheatley left Audi and everyone was like,
Aston Martin team principal, yeah,
coming to Aston Martin, coming to a shitty green theater near you, you know, Wheatley to Aston Martin. Everyone was saying it. And the logic was kind of like, okay, so you have these chess moves, right? Newey steps down, Wheatley leaves. Why would he leave the Audi job? To be closer to his family in England. You know, he's homesick, but what's a great job in England? It doesn't make sense. You don't leave a team principal job. It was kind of like when Oscar tweeted the tweets about like, you don't turn down an F1 seat. You don't turn down any F1 seat unless you have another one lined up. So that was the logic. But guess what? That announcement hasn't been made in a long, like there's been no movement. There's been no release. There's been no rumblings that, Wheatley's about his gardening leave. There's been no sort of chatter about that. And I can't help but think that maybe
let's go.
Horner's going to be the one that saves me. And after all, it's Christian and Jerry Halliwell. Okay. So yeah, I mean the dearth of news about Wheatley is kind of there are rumors that Lawrence Stroll is making a play for Horner, according to some F1 journalists.
I think why can it not be both, Matt? Why if you're Lawrence Stroll and you've got unlimited funds, why don't you throw a checker at Jonathan and at Christian as well? Give Christian a sporting director role, like not CEO team, but he won't be. It would be like the commercial mind that Zach Brown is to McLaren. Give him throw a bit of equity at him. Bring Jonathan Wheatley in as the god tier racing F1 mind that he is. Make him be team principal. Get him to do the 2-second pit stops that he's so well known for, that excellence that he imbues in every single team that he joins. Why can't it be both, mate? And surely though, I think that's what they got to do. It's a lot of money. It's not cheap. What else are Aston Martin going to do, mate? They're 4 seconds adrift of the race lead. It's a joke.
So Wheatley went through this whole. I mean, the Odyssey's coming out very soon. Wheatley goes on this whole odyssey, this whole hero's journey, only to end up exactly where he left off, working for Christian Horner. How beautiful is that? You have a beautiful, twisted mind, Cameron.
I think it's he just Wheatley wants to be a proper team principal, right? I don't think there was a failing of the relationship between him and Christian. Christian always wanted to be front and center. Was the rumor that if anybody from Red Bull wanted to speak, it always had to be Christian. You never saw Wheatley on a microphone until he joined Audi. But then Wheatley just wants to be a bloody team, but that's why he left Audi, isn't it, Matt? Because Mattia Binotto had his fingers in the team principal pies. Get away from me, chap. I'm Jonathan Wheatley, and I make the bloody decisions here. I don't want to do them by consensus. Mattia Binotto, get in there. You're an engineer. Get in the engine room, and I'm the team principal. And if I'm not going to be that, then I need to leave now, and that's what Jonathan did. Bless him.
Yeah, I mean, it's how many team principals have gone through there?
I
mean,
loads.
they've had like 12. I mean, Otmar, they had that guy cracked. I mean, it's like
It's enough here.
it's crazy how many team principals they've had. It's like the
Cowell.
last days of Rome, how many emperors they had, and then Newey was like, I'll do it, and now it's become his undoing. How many people are? I don't know. I'd be a little scared.
Matt, that I think a lot of times in F1, these things are about timing. I'm reminded of a Warren Buffett phrase when he says, be greedy when others are fearful, fearful when others are greedy. I think if Aston Martin were stuck, I think you want to be in roundabout now. Adrian Newey's not going anywhere. Next year he's going to have had like plus 12 months worth of lead time, and he's still the last airbender. He's still the greatest one. What is it? 13 drivers and 12 constructors. So you give him a little bit of time, put the right people around him, mention their names, Jonathan Wheatley, Christian Horner, Red Bull reunion settings. And then I think we might be looking at Bitcoin circa 2004, mate. Just at the beginning, just before it kicks off, mate. At some point, Adrian Newey's too good to not land on the right answer at some point in the next couple of years. He will roll a couple of sixes, match just Adrian. That's what he does. He just needs the right people in and around him and a little bit of patience.
And I think based on recent experience, Honda, they're growers, they're not showers. Okay? They take a couple, they might not get, they show as my teacher used to show me in my report card. It would say needs improvement. and I would I would set the bar low, and then I would do you don't want to come out in class. I learned this. You don't want to come out hot and then slack, because that's going to be held against you. You want to come out like an idiot. Set the bar low and then clear the very low bar so everyone thinks you're a G. That's what Honda did with Red Bull. They were like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. We're idiots. We're starting out at Toro Rosso first. You got to ease us in, and then because I think they have lots of brain drain, right? They go in, they go out, they go in. There's lots of adjustment periods for them, and I think you can based on the last cycle that they take a while to get up to speed. And that they're going to figure, and that they're getting all this extra help, right? They're getting. Speaking of the dumb kid in class, they're getting the extra time on the test, and I think that this is maybe a little Adderall, and they're getting. They'll be up to speed.
I think it's only a matter of time. Honda will get there, but I can't. Matt, I think we underestimate the power of relationships sometimes in Formula One. If you've ever worked for or with a Japanese company, the one thing culturally what they don't tolerate is disrespect, Matt. So for Adrian Newey as the bloody team principal to come out and say, well, they didn't have the staff. We went over there, we saw the factory, they were nowhere near ready for an F1 project. For Adrian Newey to have a microphone in front of his face and disrespect the Japanese Honda, like how that's not going to help. That's not going to, and that's why, chap, to your original question, they need to get in a Christian Horner who knows how to kiss some babies' heads and massage some feet. Do you know what I mean? He can manage a relationship with Honda because he gets them and he knows it, and that's why you throw some money at him if indeed you harbour aspirations to win championships.
And that's just a moronic thing to say on so many levels, because it's like. So you mean you saw their factories? I mean, this is more of a Stroll issue. You saw that. So these shitty factories that you saw, they're making things out of sticks and stones, and then you sign an engine deal with them.
You thought that was a good idea.
Whose fault is that? Is that Honda's fault or your fault?
Matt, it makes no sense. And they went to the bloody factory in November. of last year, Matt, which makes it even bloody, honestly, don't even get me started. My blood pressure is already too high, Matt, and the level of ineptitude over there at Aston Martin, that they can't even make sensible low-level decisions, and they think they're going to build a fast racing car. It's never going to happen. But again, Christian Horner will help that cause, methinks.
All right, speaking of rumors, there are rumors that MBS is starting about, first of all, he wants spec engines, customer engines, standardized engines. Okay, so I need to understand that the F1 has been trying for years to get more manufacturers into the sport. Porsche, please come in. Honda, please come in. Cadillac, come in. Well, maybe less Cadillac. Audi, please, we'll do anything. We'll make our engines fucking lame as shit. So we'll get rid of the MGUH. They've been grabbing their ankles backwards, reaching back from the other way, grabbing their ankles to get these new engine suppliers in. And then MBS driving off, I was going to say off the top row of WWE style. I think it's more motocross, like we had in the Way House, but in a Lego car, just coming off the ramp saying, spec engines, baby. Fuck the manufacturers. I mean, what is this guy on, Cameron? You've been a fan longer than me. Explain this to me.
I don't know, mate. It's I can't predict chaos, mate. He's a proper chaos merchant. Listen, anything is possible with this man. If he's amended the constitution of the FIA to make sure that he can run for as long as he wanted. Previously it was 12 years. He can now go forever. There was like an age limit on. He's taken that off. He's doing what this is his world.
And he runs unopposed.
He runs unopposed. This is his world, mate, and we are living in it. So if he wants V8s or V10s, whatever, he'll probably get that. If he wants to bloody do a spec series because he no longer wants to be at the behest of the power unit manufacturers like Mercedes and Audi, then fair play. But sometimes, I mean, mate, there are old diehard purists that are now coming round to MBS. If he's saying V8s and V10s, that's a very quick way to win F1 fan favour, because people have been crying out about for the longest time, specifically to the power unit thing. I mean, it's a power play, isn't it, Matt? He just wants to deleverage the amount of influence that the likes of Audi and Ferrari and Red Bull powertrains, Red Bull Ford powertrains has, and Mercedes. He just wants to. He doesn't want to be at their behest, which I don't think, when you read it on paper, it sounds like a madness, but in principle, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, mate. Spec series sounds a bit daunting, but I mean, you want to deleverage you do want to take away some of the influence of Mercedes. What happens, Matt, if Mercedes just say, right, my ball, I'm not playing anymore, and Ferrari say, not interested? It's a problem, isn't it? It's a big problem.
Yeah. Well, I think, but you kind of have to call their bluff a little bit, right? You gotta kind of stick. If you're F1, you kind of have to, but it's not F1, right? It's the FIA. That's the difference, right? There's always been this uneasy relationship. Not always, actually. I mean, in the John Balestra days, it was, right? It was the FISA versus FOCA, right? It was the guys who ran F1. They were the F1 as a business. That was Bernie Ecclestone. And there was FISA, the guys who adjudicated it. And there was a lot of tension there. And then they assassinated Balestra. They got rid of him. Not literally, figuratively. And then they got Max Mosley in there, who was Bernie's mate, as you guys like to say. And then they worked hand in glove, right? What the FIA wanted and what Formula One wanted were one and the same. And I think that now it seems like we're getting more into a situation where what the FIA want and what Formula One want are not necessarily, we know aren't the same thing. I remember when, do you remember when they came out with these valuations, right?
Oh my gosh.
The teams were worth this much. And MBS was like, that's a fucking overpay. I wouldn't be paying for that. It's like, dude, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like that would be like if you signed a deal with Surfshark for YouTube, and it was like, Cameron signs a 6-figure deal with Surfshark. We're like, 6 figures for Cameron? It's like, dude, this has nothing to do with you. Why are you fucking with Cameron's money? It's crazy.
Sabotage.
Like, why would he, like, what is he thinking? And to some degree, like, I think to some degree, he's right in the sense that I think, like, the whole Audi, like, we're not going to come in unless you get rid of the MGUH, and you have to get rid of you have to do the thing because of 5 seconds, the whole thing with the 5 seconds at the start. I remember Audi, they wanted Audi to get rid of the MGUH, but there were some other components that that the other teams wanted to get rid of because Audi had this other there was all this angling between engine and manufacturers that really, like, too many cooks spoils the broth. They have too much influence. All their competitiveness kind of can hurt the product, but that's kind of it's like, but it does seem like he's getting ahead of his skis.
Always, chap. What else are you expecting from this dude at this day? You've said something there about the bloody asset value that I think merits a cheeky double click. You are a customer of FOM. They pay the FIA upwards of $100 million.
Right.
And there is rumor about a buyout, and you want to cut off their commercial balls. You are a customer of them. F1 procure a service from you. So the only way, this is prioritizing conflicting demands, right?
So his angling for the V8s, you think he's just trying to do the populist move?
Of course he's like just trying to curry some fame. I get.
What about the spec end? The spec engines, he's trying to defang the manufacturers.
No, I just don't when somebody's not to be trusted. If you're telling me that he's doing it for, like, the good of the sport and sustainability, well, I just don't believe that I don't believe that MBS has ever done anything in life that's for the good of anything other than his own P&L. Like, they talk all this, I don't want to get on my MBS high horse, but he talks all this sustainability gubbins, and then he's flying around on his PJ, expensing it to the FIA. He came in on a mandate of not just sustainability, but transparency, and then he's he's setting up meetings, sans David Richards and Robin Reed, with a view to, like, amend the fundamental constitution of the FIA. What happened to transparency then? So now that he's saying V8, you expect me to believe that that's V8 for the good of the sport going forward? If it is, it's an incidental good. Like, it's not. Did I read? I don't think he's to be. I don't trust him because I don't think he's to be trusted.
It's like when the most, like, detestable person in politics makes a point, and you're like, "Fuck, well, I agree with him."
Yes.
Or her.
Yes.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Why am I agreeing with them?
It's a problem.
There must be something.
Yeah.
There must be something to this. He's also been speaking about refueling. How are we feeling about refueling?
Well, they took out refueling in the first place because it wasn't dangerous. Do you remember Jos Verstappen? I want to say, was it 96 when he nearly got bloody? It was that spotty Benetton championship year where they also got the launch control stuff happening. That was a sketchy championship run. Goodwill knowledge, sir. So I mean, if then it was a bit dodgy, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, that's
now.
because they took out. But you could argue that's because they took out the fuel. They took out a filter, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you think there's not going to be a team in 2027 that doesn't think that taking out a filter is a good idea because it's going to make for faster pit stops? Like, the more things change in F1, the more things stay the same. There will be always somebody who tries to get. They say that a fast car is a dangerous one, and a fast racing team is a dangerous one as well. There will always be a team that takes risks.
I just think it's like refueling is an acquired taste, I think, is what I'll say, because it takes because you don't. It's not. Speaking of transparency, right? You're not always sure who has what fuel. A guy, like in IndyCar, you'll see it, right? A guy is in the lead but he's not really in the lead because he doesn't have enough fuel, and you're not. But the commentators will do a good job explaining that to you. And speaking of Scott Dixon, like Scott Dixon will just win races, and he'll have been in last, like he'll be near the back, and you just don't understand why. So fuel adds a very interesting variable, and you have to be a more discerning viewer when you have tires and refueling, because it's two separate variables. What do you think his motive is for that? You know, because making them lighter. What do you think when you're like MBS and you have this toy, you got to use it. You got to throw your weight around. Just doing nothing, right? Just doing your fucking job, which is like, you know, making sure the races get started on time, making sure the pit lane speedometers don't get fucked up.
No.
Like just adjudicating the sport, it's just boring.
Yeah, no. Needs to be in the bloody Lego cart with on the driver's bro. Yeah, mate, he misreads the room so often now. I'm a little bit tired of him. I just can't, I don't know, but maybe his intentions are good, but this would be the first time, mate. I just think it's all money, and it's all FIA want to get paid more than 100 million. They want a bigger piece of the F1 pie, and this has something, more than likely has something to do with that he wants to deleverage.
I think you might have hit the nail on the head, which is, I think these rumblings maybe start to happen when there's some disagreements about how much the FIA are getting. Like, you fuck with my bag, I can fuck with yours, right? So maybe some of this is a bit of posturing. Like, hey, if you don't up I don't know when they're up, or when they renegotiate, or maybe they are renegotiating. I mean, you can renegotiate whatever you want, I guess.
Concorde, I think, is 2030. 2030 or 2031, they renegotiate the Concorde.
Right. So maybe he's reminding them of how much damage he can do to them. Because you know, he said this stuff about Cadillac, and then he was quiet for a while. Now he's starting to pipe up again. So it's interesting. This could all be just one giant negotiating tactic.
Yeah,
like
100%.
you said. I think that's a good.
But who holds the negotiating? Who's the big dog in that negotiation, Matt? I don't think it is. Either F1 could run all of that shit by themselves, mate. They don't need the FIA. It's convenient. Okay, so they hold the original license, or whatever they call it. It is an FIA.
It would have to become GP,
but they could, if they had the teams and the drivers, they could call it whatever they were. It didn't need to be F1. They call it F1A or so. Do you know what I mean? They could call it whatever. I think MBS needs to be careful at this juncture not to overplay his hand, especially, Matt.
Okay. They've been saying this for years. FIFA, arguably worse.
Oh.
Why don't they just bin off FIFA and just do their own soccer tour? It's like, infrastructurally, it might be harder than we think it is.
Yeah, it's long, and it's a lot of red tape, and it's long, and the optics are really bad. But
I think FIFA's harder probably to replace, because they have to like run all these matches all over the world, whether it's in Africa or South America. Like, they're accrediting, they have these tournaments that they run to get the World Cup qualifying. And I think FIFA's a lot tougher, but you know, they're these two awfully run awfully run organizations, and everyone complains about them all the time, but yet they persist.
You still watch
why? Because inertia, because running it is like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's I think the optics are bad as well, you know, particularly from F1 teams. They tolerate MBS, if only because the alternative is very techy. It's messy to get rid of them, and then bloody what happens with there's all these other ramifications that I don't think the big boys, the F1 teams and team principals and shareholders, but they can't be asked of it, mate.
Well, you know what? But here's the thing. I think. Well, I don't know. If Liberty Media stay in, then the chance of this goes up, right? But the whole idea is that they were trying to do the American model, right? They institute this basically F1 equivalent of a salary cap, right? They do extra wind tunnel time. Now they have the duo tokens. Honda's getting a massive helping hand. They're getting unlocking extra money, right? Because of how bad. So this is all sort of mirroring an NBA, NFL franchise with the salary cap, and like they're giving out basically the F1 equivalent of draft picks, right?
It's a good chart. It's a good comparison.
So if we're taking this to the logical conclusion, guess what NFL and NBA franchises don't do? They don't license out the guy. They don't add in a third-party contractor to fucking ref their games. All of that is in-house. It's all controlled within the fucking Adam Stern, Commissioner Roger Goodell. He fucking works for them. He works for the owners. He works for the commissioner works for the teams. That's how it works. Like, that's it. He answers to them. So that's when they see that, they're like, that's actually pretty appealing. Maybe like, so it's just like fucking laziness. It's inertia that they don't want the next MBS to fucking work for them directly. Because I mean, going back to FIFA real quick, I mean, they've got this beautiful game. You've got the best sporting event probably in the world, right? You got these countries, right? I'm sorry, but like, you know, Manchester City Arsenal or Man U Arsenal doesn't touch, you know, Belgium Congo, France Morocco, right? It doesn't touch like these countries that have real fucking history, right? Like France, Italy, right? It's
bigger.
England and whoever the fuck they play. They got beef with fucking everybody, right? It's just this amazing sporting event. And then it's constantly getting fucked up by these questionable calls. Donald Trump getting on the phone and being like,
mate,
you know,
what are we doing?
Get this straight. So it's like, I think F1 has the same problem. It gets undercut by the amateur antics of the way that every week we're talking about the fucking stewards.
They don't.
Every week.
They don't. Bill Belichick settings. They just don't do their job. It's a problem, mate. And for £100 million, they should be. But you said something earlier, Matt, that I wanted to check you on or ask you about. You said about the V8s and legibility, as if F1 doesn't already have a legibility problem. I don't know whether the drivers are overtaking because of skill or bloody charge, and now you're going to throw in bloody refueling again. It's testament. The game's gone, Matt. It's I feel like it's moving in the wrong direction just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Cameron, it's been a pleasure having you on. That does it for our rumors and news edition. But it was an honor and a privilege having you.
You're a legend. Right back at you.
Where can people find you?
Cameron CC on YouTube is the bit to click. So,
guys, this podcast would not be possible without our daddies of the pod, our top tier Patreon subscribers. They help keep the lights on. So we'd like to give a shout out to our daddies of the pod, which we do every episode for our daddies. I've never done this before, and it is showing. All right, so shout out to Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier, Shayla Valari, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Warler, Kimberly Whalen, Alonzo Over My Face 69, Danya Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hosser 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour, Dion, Steph Grossi, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Science 8, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella, Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts. Jay Kess, George Russell's evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis Alexander, Meggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eva the Y, Devin A.K., the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Sonoda's other mother, Jenny is the reasons I am a daddy, Maddie, Megan, Aaron, Pineapple. Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. No, I don't. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Mac can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive era editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good look out there. Alas, insane. Juge, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Calapito is a fraud. Aaron, Shad, Jean's a rockstar, Chohun. Caught a lick my balls. Stay fierce, Charles Leclerc. Truthbringer, Mama Burns. Arthur Leclerc is hotter. I beg to differ. Carl Lost Signs. OP Goblin, right meow. James, DNCTT. Finney, Daddy Kev, not Magnuson. Mr. Ed, Bobby. Lando Norris's unofficial girlfriend. Why do I has Hawk 2 on this name? Winkin. Lizzie Y, Jafar from afar. Stroll pay the toll to get in the boys' hole. Andrew Prisco, Rojo the Bambino. The Great Paul Bino, Sausage Boy Atticus, Uno Cinco, Scott Men's like Cappuccino Lays. Honorary Daddy this week and every week, Nicole Piastri. If you want to be a daddy, go to patreon.com/cheerfpod and join the resistance. Thanks again. Can I get a goodbye, Vankas, from you?
Goodbye, Rankers.
Yeah, baby.